Before this video begins, anything and everything said in this video is an allegation or an opinion unless it's been proven in a court of law or they've admitted to it themselves. Now, if you sue me on any of my opinions or simply the stating of allegations, fuck yourself. Although, this is Jack Doherty we're talking about here, right? He's not going to sue me. He's going to get his bodyguard to punch me. So, do you guys know who Jack Doherty is?
I want to say they're familiar. At least the name and the face is very familiar.
The name and the face is most definitely familiar, especially given the fact he had like a bunch of mini dramas around Christmas. So, Jack Doherty is the ever controversial figure, right? And he's one of the few people who have had like bans on Kick. He's got his account back, but he's had bans on Kick. So, here's the thing about Jack, right? He's never done anything too bad to get kicked off a platform, but he's always doing shit that pisses someone off, right? And granted, that's the internet in general. You could cure cancer and someone would get pissed because you didn't cure it quick enough to save a family member or whatever.
Yeah.
But this guy has got, people either love him and they're like 14-year-old fanboys, or they fucking despise him, right? And his content journey started off with you remember when bottle flipping was a thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
His content journey started off with a pen flipping video, right? And he'd land a pen backflip like back to back, which was apparently impressive enough. And
that actually sounds like really familiar. I feel like I actually saw that.
Yeah. Right. To me, that's where his content peaked personally, right? Because his content is definitely targeted towards like a younger audience, like some sort of like insecure teenager who wants they want a Bugatti, they want to be surrounded by women, they want all this and that, right? But here's there's a big problem with his content being like targeted towards a younger audience, and I'll get into that later. But that one video got him like 100 subscribers, and he was sort of like stuck with trends, right? So by sticking to trends, obviously trends get to a point where they're not cool anymore. They just piss everyone off. And his first bit of criticism would come with like, you remember the floor is lava trend?
Yeah. From a couple years back.
That's where the criticism started with Jack, right? So popular at the time, but people would find him as a person is like really grating. He really pisses a lot of people off. In fact, even in
he looks like he has a face that pisses people off.
Yeah. Well, he's even been on like Dr. Phil and said he'll do anything for a click and a like.
Oh, I didn't know he was on Dr. Phil.
He's like the Catch Me Outside girl, and people like him and her are very much like, I think they go on Dr. Phil to kickstart their careers by being an asshole.
Yeah. Right.
But he'd just go around like Walmart, like parkouring between the shelves, knocking things over, just being an asshole.
But is he the guy that said he doesn't care about his family because they don't have enough followers?
Possibly. I didn't know if that's him. But it could be him. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
So just destroying, private property for clicks and views.
He got kicked out of like a lot of Walmarts and like Targets and shit. Nothing like horrendous. Like he didn't stab anyone on live stream. In fact, he hasn't done it yet, but anything for the view. Over the years,
he's got time to get there.
Yeah. He's working on it, right? So like over the years, he's sort of had like a lot of like minor scuffles with other content creators, like Island Boys and FouseyTube, and I didn't know FouseyTube still made content. Still does apparently. And in fact, he even got in like a fight, like a physical altercation with the Island Boys, where someone got put in a headlock. I think it was the Island Boy, but managed to get out and like smacked him. And then people can't decide, who won the fight. I just think it's a pair of fucking idiots scuffling on the floor.
Right.
But the backlash would really sort of start to like, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Each time you learn something, it just keeps going. So the next bit would be, do you know the YouTuber Danny Aarons? British.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Danny Aarons would call him out for a boxing match through the Misfits platform, right? And instead of, I don't know, saying he's not a right fight for me, or he's a bitch, he'll back out, Jack resorted to body shaming Danny Aaron's, mainly going for things like his hairline and I think his weight as well. That's all he could resort to, really. I don't think he would have won against Danny Aaron's. And so he just used the controversy to escape away. That's my opinion, though. But the most explosive controversy, but not the worst, in my opinion, would come from actually his bodyguard at a Halloween party. So Jack and a bunch of like YouTubers, Twitch streamers, whatever, were at Irinixi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Blonde, huge titties. Yeah. And they'd be at her Halloween party, and you know, she didn't want to be in like a video of his or something. I don't know. And so like arguments broke out. One of Karina's friends said something, and the bodyguard, despite there being like no physical threat, just punched the shit out of this guy. There's sort of like this massively dramatic escalation. In fact, they both got I think they've still got a lawsuit about this. I don't think the guy's going to be the type to back down and like settle outside of court. I hope he's going to just drag them through court, sort of maybe get something out of this, right?
Yeah.
Now those all seem like pretty typical YouTube controversies, but with Jack Doherty, the one thing I've noticed is despite he's got this like massively like sexual content and like, you know, the old type of like FIFA clickbait videos where they'd have like someone with like huge titties in the thumbnail be like, I pulled the Messi and shit like that. Jack's content is very sexual like that. Now you can't obviously use those clickbait thumbnails on YouTube anymore, but he's always making sure he's surrounded with attractive women to sort of promote their OnlyFans. And this is where the grooming allegations come in, right? So Jack Doherty has an OnlyFans himself. It's not great. I wouldn't be showing that off. But here's the thing about his OnlyFans. It's not just his OnlyFans he promotes. On his Twitter, his Instagram, his social media, he's always promoting this website. Now, here's a little screenshot I got from the website. So, the OnlyFans, obviously his own. VIP OnlyFans, obviously his own. Who's the girl's OnlyFans? And this is where the Andrew Tate-esque allegations come in. So, it's been alleged that Jack will befriend these conventionally attractive 17-year-olds, right? And
already very gross.
Yeah, very gross. And sort of drink with them, party with them, hang out with them. He is 21 years old, I think, himself. So he shouldn't really be getting the booze anyway. Because he is US of A.
21 is alcohol legal here?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that young, yeah.
Yeah. And so he'd have these parties with them, apparently, allegedly, also taking them out onto yachts or whatever, and he'd get them to sign contracts that they're going to start an OnlyFans, and in exchange for the promotion for their OnlyFans, he's either going to get nearly all or a vastly disproportionate amount of revenue from these OnlyFans accounts.
So, potential minors being forced to do a OnlyFans, and he's getting most of the money.
The moment they're 18, these girls start an OnlyFans, they sign on with him, and he gets a massively proportionate amount of their money earned.
Alright, very gross.
Yeah, which is really fucking weird. And in fact, on Twitter, someone even stated he learned the Andrew Tate way.
What is the Andrew Tate way? I know the name, but I don't know a lot about it.
Andrew Tate has similar allegations on him in Romania, which is why he was arrested, I think, last year or the year before.
Gotcha.
I don't know what's going on with I don't keep up with Andrew Tate. I got better things to do.
Yeah, I've only seen like a handful of clips from him.
Yeah. So there's this whole allegation made that basically Jack Doherty, well, there's this. No, it's not an allegation; it's a theory, right? Jack Doherty is always getting in these tiny little scuffles that don't matter. Be it with the Island Boys, Fuzi 2. He's another big like thing people don't like him for is he'll like start arguments with members of the public and then hide behind his fucking bodyguards, who, keep in mind, are like fucking giants. They're definitely in the right careers. And then like the bodyguards obviously like, oh, fuck off, you're not laying a hand on him, and so like. He keeps relevant, and like people are talking about Jack, but they're talking about, oh, he's a bitch, he's hiding behind his bodyguard, and no one ever looks at like what's going on with the OnlyFans.
Yeah,
there's like this theory that he's sort of big brain manipulating the like what people say about him. Personally, I don't think he's smart enough to do that. I've watched him. Like bits of his content, I don't think he's smart enough for it. But that's the theory I've seen, right? As people don't like him for other reasons, like his I can't do anything wrong attitude, or like he's been pulled over by the police.
I hate people like that in just general.
Well, he's been pulled over by the police a dozen times, and like the moment the police officer like turns their back, he starts mocking them.
Wow.
Yeah. And people believed, not just him, but like cases like him, have this sort of attitudes led to the rise of like public menace streamers, the type who like harass people in public, go up, take food off of people's plates, basically commit crimes, not thinking of the repercussions. And I've seen like people quoting the actions of like Neon, who calls people bitches when he really should not be. Like he's telling like these 6'4" people like, yeah, fight me, bro, when he is not built for fighting. Or like people like Mizzy, who was walking into people's houses, snatching people's phones in the street. Mizzy's been in and out of court so often. Like he's been in court more times than I've been to the Tesco around the corner.
Wow.
Yeah. So with Jack Doherty, where do we put him? Because this is the interesting one. A lot of this stuff
my
is...
My initial thought was C before we got into the minor allegation part.
But here's the thing. The minor allegations part hasn't even been proven.
Yeah.
It's all theorized. Even if he's taken a massively disproportionate amount of money, which is still obviously bad, everyone's 18. There's no proof that he's groomed them as when they're minors, for the OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean, still, taking a majority of the money that, these girls, minors or not, are putting into these OnlyFans that they may or may not have been forced into.
Yeah. Not only that,
maybe bump him up to at least a B or A.
Yeah. Not only that, it's this, he's always got his OnlyFans linked, and despite knowing everyone knows their audience. But when you start doing YouTube, whether seriously or not, you're always looking at your well, at least I am. I'm always like checking out different bits of my analytics, what does good where, when do videos drop off, stuff like that. He should know, and like interactions on social media, he should know his audience.
Right.
I think it's pretty ignorant to say he's as big a content creator as he is and doesn't know the audience his content appeals to.
Yeah.
And given how much the OnlyFans is promoted, I think it's kind of bad. I disagree with OnlyFans as a platform to begin with. I understand it started off as like a platform where individuals could maybe make sexual content themselves and have full control. That's quite good, but it's become this very different thing. Almost slightly trendy. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of OnlyFans. Despite the jokes on the stream, I'm not a big fan. I think Jack Doherty is middle of A.
Yeah. Like between
Sniper Wolf and James Charles.
I was trying to remember what his name was, James Charles.
Because there's definitely the potential that he's possibly groomed someone, but there's no evidence to corroborate it. At least not that I can find.
Without the evidence, it's hard.
It's hearsay.
Any higher.
if the evidence obviously comes out, I will just make like a short where I'm like, oh yeah, Jack Doherty, we were wrong. If the evidence comes out that he did at least groom one using like the yacht, the alcohol when they're 17, I'd say at least bumps him to between MadFad and EDP. And if the numbers go above one, I'd say maybe between Lion Maker and Austin Jones.
Yeah.
But that's all theories and hypotheticals I don't have the evidence for. I can't go, hey, look, he groomed a child, unlike with, obviously, S tier. So, in fact, tell me what you think in the comments below, because we're going to end this one here. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until I see you next, don't forget to take care of yourselves. In the next video, we're going to be covering Brandon Brutal, TikTok's emo offender.